All right. So now that all of this has happened, we move to step number 3, set your alarm. Okay, remember I said that I got this morning message that said, I have the time, I'm going to tell you everything. And then nothing. Didn't place one heart over a message, gave a short response to one thing, but we had like 20 threads going. There's tons of stuff we talked about that's never been responded to by this person, okay? And so I just sat there and waited. And it was nearly 5 hours, and it was 4 hours and 42 minutes before I got another response. And it was just, hey, how's your Saturday? A little bit more, or your Sunday, a little bit more about how they've changed as a person. Very short, but no detail, still no response to anything, all right? So, this is how you keep yourself contained. I've recognized this person's actions don't match their words. Their response time and everything, that's a huge red flag for me. So I set an alarm. I will not respond for 4 hours and 42 minutes. And so I just calculated the time, put on my phone, doesn't matter. I don't care how many times they text me, I will not respond for 4 hours and 42 minutes. I will match. This is called matching. This is what keeps us boundaried, all right? We match their response time. We don't try and manipulate or say something or bring it up. They get to live their life the way they want. This is about our recovery and dealing with ourselves, all right? So no matter what, I will not break that boundary of 4 hours and 42 minutes, all right? That's how I keep myself contained. That moves us in to master your emotions. And this, to me, is the most exciting part. You see, the reason we're triggered has absolutely nothing to do with them. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just doing what works for them. And they get to live based on their trauma history and whatever. This is about me. I'm the one who's freaking out. This person wasn't my mother, who was an alcoholic and abandoned me. This person wasn't my father. And so what people don't realize is every emotional reaction we have as an adult was learned in childhood. So you're just, no matter what somebody does, your reaction is based on the summary, the category, and the definition that you created based on your parenting that you received and the culture and society you were raised in, okay? So because of my parenting and culture and society, I recognize that my fear and all the abandonment and everything that comes up over somebody's actions not aligning with their words and their inability to match my vulnerability and all of that. Do you hear how that's just like my parents? So I am projecting my parents' face onto this person. Well, that's not their responsibility. Well, I get excited. And this is what we have to do. Remember, emotions, we are not born with them. They are learned. We create a summary of the event that happened. We place it into category and we define it. So my summary was, I'm abandoned. My thoughts, feelings don't matter. I am always neglected, as my dad said just before he died. Kenny, you got the least of all the kids. And so there's the definition I got. If you don't speak to me, if your actions don't align with your words, if your responses are not the same length as mine, they're not equal. Remember, I got less. So the definition is I got less. So if your effort doesn't match mine, if it's not equal, and your response time doesn't match mine, I freak out. Now, I've done a lot of recovery, I've gotten better, but I recognize in that moment, this person is acting just like what appears to me as my parents. So I recognize it's not about them, but see, I've done the recovery work and now I know my reaction to this person's behavior isn't about them, it's about my childhood. And so now we have to master our emotions. We have to create new summaries, new categories, and new definitions of when somebody ghosts us, their actions don't align with their words, and they're not as vulnerable as we are. All right? So the first thing I did was I did what are called the 3 Gets, the 3 Gets of Al-Anon. Get off their back, get out of their way, get on with your own life. What that get off their back means, Quit shrinking them. Quit sitting there, oh my God, I mean, I did 4 hours and 42 minutes, but that was so I knew how to respond. But I didn't spend the last several hours ruminating on them, getting angry, hurt. I got off their back. They get to live life and pursue texting any way they want. It's none of my business. So that's get off their back, get out of their way. That means don't control their life. They get to live their life there. They get to have their own summaries, categories, and definitions. Like maybe for this person, my style of texting, of responding right away, feels incredibly suffocating and smothering based on their childhood. So they need distance. So they're just protecting themselves from me. They don't see what I'm doing as accountable or healthy. They see me as toxic. It's quite possible. All right? So instead of projecting onto them that my way is better and right, I get out of their way. They get to live the life they want. And then number 3, I get on with my own life. And that's what I did. I laid by the pool, I went for a walk, and when I was out for the walk, I went, oh my God, I should do a video on this. This is amazing. So do you see, I'm creating a new summary. I'm taking a situation, and instead of borrowing from the past, those old summaries, categories, and definitions, I'm going, wait a minute, this is a gift when somebody does this. Look at how I get to step into my own life. I get to create a new video. I've been making playlists. Like, I've had an amazing day with me. Remember what the third get is? Get on with your own life. That's what I did. Cleaned the whole house. The place looks spectacular. Like, I've just had a fantastic day. I mean, the other thing is, look, I don't have to be controlled by anyone. I don't have to respond. I get to do whatever I want. I have total freedom. Like, there's so many benefits to somebody who reacts this way when I choose not to control them. So do you see, I'm creating new categories and definitions around all of this. Now, I am staying with my morals and values. I'm not changing and going, well, I'll just become what they want. I'm not giving myself away, but I am changing that internal feeling that sends us through the roof, that makes us susceptible to the narcissist and susceptible to the love avoidant and all the toxic people, because our abandonment gets triggered, we keep going. We don't know how to stop. And this is how we learn to stop all of this, is we learn emotional mastery, all right? We create new categories and definitions, and that's how I spent my day.